Welcome to the Yankee and Canuck podcast, Best Picture Series, where we talk about all the Academy Award Best Pictures, past to present.
And I'm your host, a Yankee.
And I'm your host, a Canuck.
And today we're going to be talking about Tom Jones. It's a 1963 film. This is the 36th film to win Best Picture. Tom Jones is the only film to date to receive 3 Best Supporting Actress nominations. And Sidney Poitier became the first African-American actor to win Best Actor.
Yes.
The other films nominated were America, America, Cleopatra, How the West Was Won, and Lilies of the Field.
So, not a hell of a year.
Yeah, that explains a lot, right? So Tom Jones is essentially about a bastard who is raised by a rich guy, and he grows up to be an adult bastard, and he goes on having adulterous affairs left and right, and he meets the love of his life, and the end.
Yeah. He's basically an incorrigible moron, a womanizer. He's out of control. He's an out-of-control lad in England. And
yeah. Oh, yeah, it's
finds
in England.
himself in trouble quite often.
Yeah, it's roughly like, 27 years before the American Revolution, I think. So
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
It's not unusual. Actually, it is. It's highly unusual that this film won Best Picture.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. What other films came out this year that were better?
I mean, look, this film was shocking. I mean, as they say today, super sus, right? It's like, come on, man. But let me just say, this year had so James Bond from Russia with Love came out 63.
That's a good one.
The Birds, Hitchcock. I know you're not a big fan of that, but
that's kind of a stupid movie, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, but it's good. High and Low, which is one of the best Kurosawa films, hands down. One film that's just a great example of his excellence, and not just samurai films, which are great, but also crime dramas, crime thrillers, which that film is a mystery crime thriller.
Yeah.
So that came out in 63. Mario Bava had, I think, a couple movies. Black Sabbath came out in 63, the movie, which is a 3-part horror story, and a really good one too, must watch in my opinion. I know he had another film that year. I don't remember what it was. It was a busy year for him, and maybe he even had a few films. I know I'm going to be, I just went into horror, but it's so underappreciated. But The Haunting came out in 63 as well. That's a really good horror film. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of horror movies. So, but somehow this movie won.
Yeah. Well, it was nominated and then it won. So of the ones I just named, the only one I've seen was How the West Was Won. Now, the thing with that film is I saw it the way it was meant to be seen. Now, this is one of 2 films where it was shot in a Cinerama projection style. It was a 3-strip process. So basically, if I understand this correctly, they had a camera that had 3 different lenses to make the actual picture length even wider. So that was the gimmick. So in order to fully appreciate that, you had to watch it on a specialized screen where it has basically, it's kind of like these modern video game computer screens and stuff where they have the curvature, that really long curvature kind of projection.
Right.
Yeah, well, they had that back in the day for this kind of picture for certain theaters. I'm lucky to have gone to the one in LA, the Cinerama Dome, and I actually saw that film as it was originally projected in that format. It probably was the original film reels too. It's interesting. It's kind of cool, but you do see the seams on the sides, so you can see it stitched together. So it's not, it's not invisible or nothing. But that being said, it is interesting to watch. Because the wide frame, it kind of makes you feel like you're there. You could see so much happening on the screen. It's just crazy. The film itself is actually not bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. It's okay as far as a Western film goes. It's definitely more deserving than this. So that's for sure.
One of the movies we covered, I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was Ben-Hur, or they were one of the first films to utilize that type of technology on the side of the screen that curves and kind of makes the picture, a different experience. I think it was, in the late 50s when that was really starting to pop off or whatever.
Yeah, I think you might be right on that process.
I remember we mentioned it in something. I can't remember if it was Ben-Hur or...
It was Ben-Hur, you're correct.
Ben-Hur, yeah. So...
Yeah,
but anyways, Oh, you never saw Cleopatra? That was with Elizabeth Taylor. That came out in 63.
Oh, actually, Ben-Hur didn't have that process, but it was... that film was instrumental for MGM to go ahead and do this kind of process, to invest in this kind of process. But, I'm sorry, what was your question?
No, you didn't see. You said Cleopatra was nominated.
Yeah, I was going to see it. but it was on YouTube.
Don't bother. Don't bother.
I heard it sucked. It's a 4-hour film and it sucks, but I
It's
kind of
funny,
want to watch it.
I was just about to say it's 4 hours. It's not very good, but super famous movie.
The
Elizabeth
novelty of
Taylor
it.
And,
I know it was a big dud when it hit, you
Yeah.
know, so it was just like they spent a lot of money, didn't get really much back. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Is it any worse than this though?
It's different. It's worse in different
It's not
ways.
an endorsement.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's
Well, you know, it's different, you know.
it's different. Yeah, this at least will make you laugh.
So this is horse
Or
shit,
maybe.
and that was dog shit, like different in how way.
I
Actually,
guess that's
I
a
don't want to get into that. I'd rather get into Tom Jones. Just get it over with.
Yeah.
Just get just rip the Band-Aid off, basically.
right. So I do have an interesting fact about Tom Jones. Going back to Tom Jones. Apparently, this was the last movie that JFK watched before he was assassinated.
That's crazy.
It was a private screening in Florida, apparently, and he saw it about a week before he was assassinated. However, it technically wasn't the last film; it was just the last, in theater film. This came out in October. He sadly was assassinated in November. The movie he really watched 2 days, I think, before was. He managed to get a copy of From Russia with Love. He was a huge Bond fan. He read the novel. The film wasn't even released in the U.S. at that point. It came out in '64, and JFK was assassinated in '63. But they still sent him a copy. He sat it and watched it in the White House. But technically that's the last film, but this was the last one in theater he saw.
So that's fortunate that he watched a good film before he died. So, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And being a big fan, I think the novel was one of his favorites, so, yeah.
Oh, speaking of novel, by the way. You
Ah,
know this is based on a novel?
1750s or something?
Yeah, 1749. You were off by about a year.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah. So this is considered the first or one of the first modern novels. It basically established the format. Written by a playwright named Henry Fielding, I think is how you pronounce that. All right. So as usual, I'd like to deep dive in these things and figure out why would someone adapt this material into a film? Never mind it winning Best Picture, right? So, I mean, that's a pretty high bar. It's pretty much the highest bar you can get, right? So I took a look at this, and this is basically the first paragraph, just to give you an idea of how this whole thing went down. It's separated into a bunch of different books. I forget how many, I think 6 or something, but here's the first one.
Oh, wow.
Book 1, containing as much of the birth of the foundling as is necessary or proper to acquaint the reader within the beginning of this history. Chapter 1, the introduction to the work, or bill of fare to the feast. An author ought to consider himself not as a gentleman who gives a private or eleemosynary treat, but rather as one who keeps a public ordinary, at which all persons are welcome for their money. In the former case, it is well known that the entertainer provides what fare he pleases, and though this should be very indifferent and utterly disagreeable to the taste of his company, they must not find any fault. Nay, on the contrary, good breeding forces them outwardly to approve and command whatever is set before them. I read that, and there's more, by the way. The paragraph's not done. I'm going to spare everyone from hearing the rest.
No more, please.
No more, exactly. I was like, how long is this? 533 pages. Okay.
Ooh.
I'm going to try to see if I can get through this. I got through 2/3 of it, and then I finally tapped out. I was like, no, this isn't.
Yeah.
No, this isn't it. The thing is, this novel's supposed to be funny. It's not. It's really it's insufferable is what it is. It's very insufferable. And one thing I will give this novel credit is that it does have a very unique voice.
Okay.
It reminds me of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Ooh, okay.
By Douglas Adams. So
Yeah.
So I think like it has the same sort of voice and the same sort of style. Like it speaks to the reader a lot. It doesn't take itself very seriously, and it's just like, is this a drama? Is this a comedy? Like at times I was questioning what the hell I was reading. So yeah, but the problem is it just keeps going on, and it doesn't really go anywhere. And for some reason, some people really like this novel. It's actually considered one of the best novels for some reason. I'm perplexed. I'm like, all right, and there's a lot of sexual stuff happening in the book too. It's not overly explicit, but it's there. So I was just like, by the time I tapped out, I was like, oh boy, this film. I'm not looking forward at all to watching this. The funny thing too is like in the beginning of the film, the whole thing with the baby, because the way the film opens, is that there's a baby that's placed in the squire's bedroom. He's like this wealthy guy or whatever. And they find a baby, like the help finds the baby, the servants find a baby. And he's just like, what happened here? Who put the baby here? And it turns out it was some lady, one of his servant ladies or whatever. And he's like, who had this baby? And then they bring in some guy, like another one of his servants. I'm like, you had the baby? Well, I'll take the baby and I will raise it myself. I'm like, okay. And then they close in the baby's face, and then the title credits play while the baby is there just doing baby things. It's kind of weird. That whole sequence is like 60, 80 pages in the book.
Oh, wow.
That did not need to be that long in the book. That gives you an idea how unnecessarily long the book is, for one. And it's just excruciatingly long. And I've read some real excruciatingly long stinkers in this series.
Right.
This one was just painful. Really, really painful. It's not Grand Hotel painful. That is a different kind of pain. I will not wish
Next
on
level.
anyone. Again, at least this book tries to be clever. It tries to be witty. It fails, but it tries. And I give it credit for trying to be at least a little unique. It's not like any other book I've ever read before.
When you mentioned the opening of the book, the film is like a silent film. It opens up like that, which I thought was kind of cool. Right?
Yeah. That's what I noticed.
Pays homage to that, and even after that part, actually, the whole film in many ways reminds me of a silent film. Right, the influence of that is all over the film. You know, the movements, the physicality, and so. Yeah,
it's interesting with the little the title cards and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's like a color silent film, which is pretty clever. Yeah. So that was Neato. That was Neato Supremo. The narration's throughout the film too, and it's persistent in the book, so it's consistent in that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I really got nothing to say, man. It's just like, I know we got to stretch and fill this thing for time, but what can we talk about? They're just like weird random vignettes that go on in this film.
It's something. The movie is something. It's, I mean, it really is like, where do you even start with this movie? This period piece comedy of sorts. I mean, it's kind of crude. It's disturbing at times. It's over the top, obviously. It's bizarre, but it might make you laugh here and there. I actually laughed quite a bit.
There are a couple funny scenes.
Yeah, the humor, I have to admit, several parts in the movie were really funny, I thought. I don't know if it's because I like a lot of British humor and a fan of things like Monty Python and Blackadder and things like that.
I was just telling you earlier, this is like Timu Monty Python.
Timu, yeah. This movie has a little bit of that, right? Just a bit. And it's not going to be for everybody, but that silly slapstick stuff, you get it. And you saw it in silent films as well, like I mentioned. And, with this, it's kind of like that, like a madcap style, breaking the fourth wall all over the place. So I thought the film was actually pretty funny at times. Was it a hilarious movie overall? No.
And to be clear, like they do talk, like there is speech.
It's a lot,
it's only in the very beginning where it's like a silent film.
Exactly, yeah. But the influence of a silent film, I felt throughout the whole film. That's like kind of throughout the whole movie, even though it's not a silent film. It feels like it at times, like
in spirits.
The physicality, the jumping, the sped up camera work when they're trying to get through a scene, and it's
the
really
editing
goofy,
the editing is kind of clever too. There's a scene where the character Tom is with the main love interest. I forget her name, Emily or something like that.
I don't remember anymore.
Sophie, I think it's Sophie.
Yeah.
So he's with Sophie, and then there's a thing where they're like on a ranch, and then the camera pans left and right, and every time they go right, they go back to left, and the same actors are back, but this time they're riding a donkey or a horse or something like that. And it looks very seamless. Like stuff like that was very clever, I thought. I was like, okay, I could vibe with this. Like they were experimenting with film techniques here and there.
Yeah.
And you mentioned fourth wall breaking. So it's just like there is a funny moment towards the end where Tom is basically... he's like vanquished or something like that. He's banished from the estate because of something that happened.
Yeah, he was charged with wrongfully charged with trying to rob somebody, which wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And because of that, his brother or adopted brother, or how do you say? His
cousin or something?
No, I mean his adopted father's son, who's the bad brother.
Brother?
Is it? I don't know what the term.
Adopted father's I guess his stepbrother. Yeah, but basically, yeah.
Stepbrother, I guess. Yeah. So he basically rushes to tell the news like, "Hey, Tom got arrested, haha," and because they're kind of a rival. But so
So he
then he gets
meets
kicked
like,
out of the family and all
yeah.
that.
Then he
So
gets to the little militia, the little British militia, and then he just hangs out with them. Then they go to a hotel. Then there's like a fight that happens, an exchange of words, and then you get to the thing where he wakes up, he's drunk. And I think there was a fight or something that happened, like a physical fight. And then that's when one of the ladies that runs the inn is just like, "Oh, the British soldiers, they left without paying the tab." And then he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I have money," because like his father died or something and gave him £500 note or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, it's in my pants." And he tries to look in his pants and is like, "What? It's not there. They took it." And then the lady's like, "Oh, you don't have any money. You're a scallywag," and this and that. And then they're both arguing. And then at one point, he looks at the camera. Tom looks at us. He's just like, did you see them steal it? And I was just like, that's funny. I kind of wish the film leaned more into that absurdism. Then I think the film would have been really funny and it would have been really innovative in that sense, I feel.
Yeah. There's a few other scenes where there's the breaking of the fourth wall. But that was one memorable part. There's one part towards the end, and there's a couple times, 3 or 4 I can think of. But yeah, a few of them were funny,
but it's too few and far in between. Yeah,
there's other funny stuff in between. Just watching the behavior, and a lot of it's just really obnoxious and insane. Some of it's disturbing. Like truly, it's like you kind of think like it's insane people behaved like this, but people did behave like that, a lot of them back in the day, and some people still do. And so it's really disturbing and how people treat people. And overall, I mean, I thought that there was a lot of funny scenes and ridiculous and
quite a bit of sex too, just like in the book. So
yeah,
I think there's a point too where he rescues this redheaded lady from one of the British soldier dudes that he partied with previously, or I think, oh no, this happens a little bit. I forget the timeline exactly, but he saves this redheaded woman. Then he has sex with her. And there's a scene where, like, before they have sex, they're just eating foods and they're eating them very erotically, like. And
it's the pear scene. The pear scene.
There's a pear scene, but then they do it with turkey bones, and then there's a wishbone, and there are all kinds of foods.
Oh, that too.
There's all kinds of foods that happen, and then they have sex. Later on in the film, you find out that's his mom.
Right, but it's actually not. It's not actually.
That's what they say, and the book actually has an Oedipus Rex sort of thing too. But I don't know.
So there's a scene at the end where they have a letter saying that this was from Tom's actual mother, and it turns out that, and then there's a breaking of the fourth wall where she looks at the screen, she's like, "What are you gonna do?" kind of thing. I'm like, "What the hell?"
Oh, she pretended. But then you find out she was pretended.
Yeah, basically, and then you find out that wasn't the case, and so. Yeah,
okay, I got that mixed up.
Fortunately, it didn't happen. Yeah.
Okay, I got that mixed up because I did read that there is an Oedipus Rex thing in the book too. I just at that point tuned out, so I don't remember.
Yeah.
So I thought,
maybe in the movie at least they go that route, and then there's something about the letter, and then you find out that's not the case. So obviously sense of relief, of course, and
there's also
but that is towards the end of the movie. I think it's literally 15 minutes left in the movie at that point.
Yeah, they just kind of throw it in there. There's also a sword fight that happens, and that leads to the character getting sentenced to get hanged or something like that because of the whole thing that he slept with some dude's wife or whatever. And then
the guy attacked him actually, but then all the townsfolk is blaming Tom for it, saying, "Oh, Tom started it, he killed him," and which wasn't the case. And that's something Tom gets himself in all these situations, and everything always goes wrong, but a lot of it's his own doing and his own bad choices, and he's so out of control, but it's almost like everyone's out to get him too in some ways, I guess.
Well, that's the thing too. It's just like I like the idea of this dude who's just like falls into aristocracy status, and he's kind of a bumbling idiot. He gets into all kinds of nonsense trouble, and he just, no matter where he goes, he gets into another adventure, and this thing snowballs into a bigger event. Like, I get that overall idea, premise, it's just not done well. And that's my frustration with the film overall. And otherwise, the film does do clever things. Like I mentioned, the editing thing. There's another thing where they go hunting for like a deer or something like that, and they release all these dogs. And there's like an aerial view, which is very impressive for the time. They pretty much got that through a helicopter shot, I imagine. You know, it's like there's some really elaborate and interesting set pieces in this whole film, but it isn't strung together very well. It's just haphazardly cut together.
Yeah, in that scene, you see all the dogs running. It's like, oh, that's great. I love dogs. And then a minute later, you see the dogs like ripping the animals' heads off.
Yeah,
like violent. It's like the rabbit out of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Like,
oh yeah,
killing everything.
That's the one.
So
It's just a rabbit, and then it kills them all. That's what I mean. Like, I think, you know, again, I mean, Monty Python is like the thing that you can directly compare this thing to, and I think this predates Monty Python.
oh, it does. Yeah, this probably came out about 7 years almost before the first Monty Python.
Yeah, because they came out in the '60s too, but the late '60s.
Yeah, right at the end of either that or
Yeah,
70.
69.
69 or 70. Yeah.
Yeah, so so you're right. It's just like I don't know, man. Like it's just it's like Monty Python saw this and were like, we could do it better, and they did.
And they did, yeah, of course, yeah.
I think that's, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, but
yeah, that's also because you had, you know, John Cleese and Terry Gilliam and Chapman and, you know, and Idol and all these geniuses, you know, comedic geniuses,
legendary,
you know, so,
comedians, yeah. Just I mean, just like that's, you know, but that's kind of the way it goes. I mean, just because you were there first doesn't mean that people are going to remember you. What matters is who does it best, you know. So in this case, Monty Python was the one who did it best. So
yeah.
So that's why instantly I attributed the humor to Monty Python. But you know, this in case, you know, and there could have been something that predates even this, but as far as I'm aware, this came before Monty Python. Didn't do it very well. Exactly. So it's just like, you know, here's a cookie. You did your best movie. You did your best. And I say it as if it's like a consolation prize. It won Best Picture. It's like the highest honor you can get. And you just you're just like, oh, look at the little Timmy. He won a little award. Oh, go play with the other kiddies while the adults do their adulting. You know, it's just like not much of an accomplishment at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty baffling that this won Best Picture. Honestly, I almost can see why it would be nominated, but even that is. But then again, I don't know. I mean, look at the other things that they didn't nominate, and then look at what they did. But it's definitely a unique film, especially for the time, and I think compared to a lot of the stuff we've been watching. So, I
put
don't know.
Towards kind of the like end spectrum of it being, you know, on the scale of the 1 to 10, I haven't rated it just yet. I'm definitely going to put it more at the lower level, especially overall in the films that we've seen. Like, it's not in the mid range; it's definitely in the lower edge. At what point in the lower edge, I don't know, but it's definitely down there somewhere.
Yeah, you're probably going to be surprised by what I rate it, but yeah, I mean, I think the good things was some of the humor, the attempts at it. There was a couple. There's definitely some good. There's definitely some good stuff about the movie. It's extremely unique, but it is stupid, and it also the pacing's not great. Like, it's 2 hours, but to me it felt over 2.5 hours. Even an hour and a half in it, I was like, man, there's another 40 minutes or something.
I know, right? You're just constantly checking, like, oh god, more.
So that is one of the issues I have with the film, and I would even say, I think the movie might even be funnier if you watch it for a second time, because then you already know the shenanigans and the ridiculousness, so you can actually absorb a little bit of the humor more. I suspect it's going to be one of those movies. But that being said, I think I'm going to pass on watching it a second time. I'm good. But I actually think it is a movie that probably will be funnier the second time you view it.
Maybe.
But, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm pretty much out. I was out when I was reading the book. I was out when I was watching the film. I did watch the entire film, by the way. I didn't tap out like I did with the book, because at least with the film, there's a finite amount of time. Whereas a book, it's just like, man, you know, it depends on how much time you have to read this kind of shit. You know, it's just like, it could take a while.
Exactly. Even parts in the film where you're like, man, where is this going to go? A few minutes later, something ridiculous happens. So then you kind of get drawn back in, and then there's something funny, and then it's just back to, you know, nonsense. And then it's just, so it kind of, they do a good job in that sense, kind of throwing stuff at you. It's just not enough, but it's enough to keep you entertained. And it's funny rubbish, but you know, it is funny nonetheless. And
at times it can be.
I think once in a while a movie like this is acceptable, and so I got to give it credit where credit's due in that sense. But
I mean, as far as
Picture,
comedies,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
like, well, how many comedies have we seen Best Picture wise? Just really like All Around
Not
the World in
many.
80 Days is the only one I can think of at the top of my head.
Yeah.
I don't know if there were any other ones. There may have been one or two that I'm not really remembering at the moment, but
I actually can't think of any other ones, to be honest. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like a straight
Some
comedy.
some maybe had light comedy in it, but nothing.
Like
This is actually supposed to be a comedy.
That Jack Lemmon film, The Apartment. There's some comedy in that, but it's not really a comedy. It's a dramedy, I
Right?
think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's a
would
good
say that
point.
those films that I just mentioned are a little better than this one. So, Apartment way better. Around the World in 80 Days. I don't know, man. It's just like
It's a
maybe
tough
it's on
one.
par. It's probably on par.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. It's not as funny. Maybe this one's a little funnier, but I
Yeah.
don't know. If I were to
That's
get
true.
into ratings, I guess man, it's so disjointed. It's just so has such potential that it doesn't reach it, and the source material is not much better. I would say 4 out of 10, maybe. I mean, it tries, but it fails.
Yeah. I'm actually going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. I was kind of debating between a 6 and a 5.5. And 6 is, maybe a little too high. I think I'm being too generous with that. So
It would have been 6 or 6.5. I would have been like, what is wrong with you?
I think if they executed some more of the comedy, I think they did enough, but if they did even more, then I think a 6 probably would be justified. But 5.5 isn't terrible, honestly. It's better than some Marvel movies. So, take it that way. This is not a terrible movie by any means.
I don't know,
It's
man.
just-
Some Marvel films
so-
are bad, but they're still watchable. That's the problem.
Yeah. This was watchable once only. I got enough laughs out of it that there was several scenes I thought were funny. It's just 2 hours, mostly not funny. That's the problem.
I guess. I don't know.
But yeah.
All right. Well, that's Tom Jones, everybody. So stay tuned for the next one.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Audrey Hepburn's in it. Yeah, it's Audrey Hepburn's in it, I think, or something. I don't know. I've already read the play, so I haven't seen the film yet, but I'll be watching the film shortly.
Now, if you guys have seen Tom Jones, let us know what you thought in the comments below. If you haven't seen it, maybe check it out. Let us know. Just don't hate us for recommending it.
Recommending it? I didn't recommend it.
He did it.
You recommend this? Okay, he recommended this.
No,
I'm not
no,
recommending anything.
Yankees recommending it, man.
No, I'm not. Screw this limey bullshit. I'm out.
All right, guys, take care.